New opportunity. Every moment is a new opportunity to design and be life however it is that you are wanting it to be. Keep that in mind. You can always alternate or exchange or change one behavior for another. You could always just, if a decision was something that you decided that you don't want to be a part of anymore, you could always go back and renegotiate. If you feel that you might have hurt somebody, you could always go and apologize and hope for the best. So we've got a shadow. This is all of my split of the deck cards. I was working on some other cards. I added another card. We have cart to the deck. Carrying around a creeper. I don't remember which card was on top here. So I think it might have been billboard. I'm not sure. But we had whatever's here now. We've got the shadow umbrella. So someone is being protected from the elements, or it could also signify some kind of umbrella corporation, the corporation that is over the top of the other corporations. There are many, 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 many companies that own branches of other companies under the different names. So you want to do your research if that matters to you. I know that one of our retail stores, discount retail stores, actually has, of course, we all know that it's 3 of them, but then there's also one that you would never imagine was part of them, is actually a part of them. They're not a competitor at all. They're actually in the same, under the same ownership. Anyhow, we've got a shadow umbrella. Maybe someone is working with someone else as maybe a quiet investor. Maybe there's going to be a quiet investor coming towards somebody. Or someone could just be being protected from some part of somebody else's shadow attributes. We've got the mullet here. We have the billboard. I'm assuming, no, I don't think the billboard was the top one, and pill was not the top one, because these were ones that I fixed. And it wasn't hierarchy. It wasn't rodeo. I apologize. I want this to be as authentic as possible, and I'm not seeing which card it was. Was it delivery? No, it was not delivery. Was it spectacles? I actually believe it was spectacles. That was the card before I started coloring in more cards. Spectacles. Someone is seeing this for what it is, or someone needs to have spectacles on, and that's in regards to the key. That's the key to the whole situation, is really paying attention and looking at all of the details. Maybe the fine print, maybe the font is different, maybe there's a different font size, maybe the line spacing is incorrect. And if I'm saying all this, maybe there's some kind of documents that somebody needs to look at to maybe even see if there's if it's some kind of forgery, something that's being recycled as something that is true, but it's not. We've got this worm. There's a worm in the mix. Worming through, eating through. There's a wormhole. Something's being recycled. Maybe it was an old document that has been recycled and repurposed to look like something else. Regarding a home. Back of my head is hurting. Okay, now we have the mullet. They're trying to make this situation appear to be very much business, but it's just chaos in the back, or it's just a party in the back. You could put the back of the mullet up into a man bun or a girl bun to just have overall look of something conservative or business-like. So someone's trying to appear in a certain way, but in actuality, this person is a creeper. They've got creeper moments. Moments of time in which they have been allowing other people to take care of whatever responsibilities that they have. In case you don't know, the creeper is a mussel that when it wants to reproduce, it puts their babies out into the gills of the passerbys, the fish, or the newts or salamanders that are passing by, and those eggs sit in the gills of those animals. And so this person is allowing other people to take responsibility or to care for their own responsibilities, however that works in your situations. Time is running out. There's not much sand left in this moments card. I did add the picture to this card, the glue. I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say, bounces off of me and sticks onto you. This, whatever these people are trying to do, it's not working. Their intended target is not being hit by it, perhaps. Whatever's being seen, the key to whatever needs to be seen is being seen by the people who need to see it. We've got some brilliant people in investigative work, I have to say. I commend them on their efforts. Those people who took an oath and stick by that oath, I totally have the utmost respect. And I can't even, what's the word? I honor you. I appreciate you. I don't know why I can't even place the word, because it is the word that I want to use, but I appreciate you for doing the research and doing the investigative services that are needed for people who are in need of those things, even when they don't know that they're in need of those things. Your integrity is just remarkable. I applaud you for taking that oath and sticking by that oath, and for not selling your integrity. You're a beautiful individual. Anyone who lives from a place of honesty, integrity, and, self-respect, I applaud you. You are a beautiful person. Sadly to say, it's like those are far and few in between that I've seen. The road, living that kind of life and living that path is difficult, because you see people around you who cut corners, or who are just not really on the up and up, or they choose to make poor decisions, or decisions that are not right. And oftentimes you see these people who take those shortcuts getting ahead, appearing to be successful, and here you are struggling, yet you keep your integrity. I know it's a difficult road, but keep it up. In case people haven't heard, there was a big news break video that was put up. I don't know why my mind is boo-hoo. It probably has to do with yesterday. There was a news release, a video that mentioned that there was an international web cyber crime ring that has been investigated since 2019, and they have arrested many of those individuals who were involved in that. And these crimes went into medical records, school records, bank records, things of that nature. And this is something that I have spoken about many times throughout the years, and I was just told that there was no way that that would be possible. I was overthinking things. But I'm happy. Unfortunately, I'm happy to hear that they have found these individuals and they are going to be bringing them up on charges. And again, this is an international situation that had been going on. If someone is all the wiser, they would maybe look into the fact that the CEO of a bank had an accident while he was in a helicopter. And I really hope that they look into that to see if there's any correlation. I'm honored. I'm not honored is the wrong word, but I'm seriously happy to see that that things are being looked into and things are going to be hopefully ironed out, and the victims and the people who were affected by these people in these cyber organizations are able to get their records and their files corrected in the manner of which they should be. I have mentioned that my records, my background check, have come up with things that I don't connect to, like having some kind of other state connected to my background check that I've never lived at. I don't know what that's about, but it's so hopefully they'll be able to unwind everything that's been going on. I've also had a rental history that has been shown to be inaccurate, as well as my age being inaccurate. If you have not done it yet, I highly suggest that you do background checks on yourself to see what your information is out there. Correct those things. Keep a file, a record of what the original findings are, and do your research, get it cleaned up. You never know what those things that are connected to your record may have been used for, so you'll want to keep the original record. I think I've mentioned before that there was a therapist that was connected to my record somehow, some way. And I had reached out to her and asked her if she knew anything about it, and she was very short. She gave me like a one-sentence response to the question. I just asked if she knew anything about it, or, does she have any relation, or does she know me at all? And she gave me one very short sentence response, and I took it as a hint that she didn't want to discuss it, and I didn't want to impede on her boundaries, even though it was just a sense and it wasn't something that she had said. I wanted to respect the feeling that I got from the email, because if it were me and my name, and I got an email from someone asking me why my name was addressed or connected to their information, I'd want to investigate it and find out why, and get my name removed from that if I didn't have any correlation to that person. So I highly suggest that you go ahead and do a background check on yourself, see what accurate records are or what is inaccurate. I would also download your medical file to make sure, keep record of that, so that way you have your official documents or your official record on file, just in case. I know it seems over the top and it seems a little bit unnecessary, but in this day and age and what they're finding out, you just never know what you can find yourself being in the center of that you had no idea that you were in the center of, because of all of these things that are going on behind the scenes. I know there was another reader, and she had said that there are different filing systems where one system doesn't connect to the other system. So in the court system, you can appear to be not here anymore, but in the credit rating, the credit bureaus, you are very much here. So you can be here and living life as you normally do with the credit bureaus, but then in the legal aspect of things where, it would be nice to be in attendance to some of these things that might be going on, you don't know about it because in their systems you appear not to even be here. So they need to fix that somehow. Just like they really do need to fix the fact that the Department of Motor Vehicles records should be blanketed over all of the states, in my opinion. Because from what I understand, those aren't connected either, which makes no sense to me. I guess it's just separation of state. I don't know. Anywho, we've got this meow, resting bitch face. It's kind of that getting an idea about somebody just based on how they look, how they appear to be. And in many cases, you'll find out that just because someone looks like they're sad or they look like they're intimidating or whatnot, they appear to be some kind of way. If you actually speak to that individual, they're not that way at all. So someone could have taken advantage of that situation. If someone looks kind of intimidating, they could have said something about that person that maybe it was possible. Maybe someone dresses provocatively, or maybe they just have a body shape that whatever they put on, they just look like they're trying to dress provocatively, but it's not. They're just wearing a dress anyone else would wear. So maybe someone was using that information and saying, oh, that person, they do that intentionally, when in actuality, they're just dressing. I mean, it's hot out, so they're just wearing a summer dress. You know what I mean? So someone could have been using that as a tactic of some sort in order to plead their case and try to make it seem like whatever it was that they were trying to say. Maybe they were trying to say that they were actually responsible for somebody else. Maybe there was some kind of power of attorney that was going on in somebody's situation, where they were saying, oh yeah, this person appears to be okay, but, or maybe someone's trying to take conservatorship. Hey, now with the mullet, taking conservatorship over an innocent individual. Maybe someone was saying this person was too naive or too immature to be able to handle their own finances, so they're going to take over on responsibility on those things. But whatever it is that they're saying, their time is running out, because that stuff is definitely not sticking to the situation. The moments are causing a sinkhole here. The bottom's falling out of their story, in which they have to take a double take in order to be able to figure out what the heck is going on. Because whatever they're saying is not adding up. Whatever they're saying is not adding up. This card I'm going to change to maybe a drop. Put drop here, and then this will stand for either blood or tears. I haven't decided, but it could be some kind of family member that's trying to say this and take ownership or responsibility over somebody and trying to use some kind of authority. This is a saith. Trying to use some kind of authority in what they're saying. Trying to make it sound like they super care about this person, like they're very conservative. We come from a very conservative, upright family. But all the while, they're the biggest party or drinkers that there might be. Who's to say? Mind you guys, this is just a story. And anything I say or my opinions are just opinions. They're all alleged. So don't take it to heart. Always do your research on your own. This person who wanted to have this authority tried to multiply their standing. Maybe they had a bunch of people trying to say things with authority, trying to put themselves in a place of authority, trying to get other people that they knew that were already in a places of authority to try to say things and maybe back this person up in order to sell their story. This is all being uncovered. We've got the orca here with the laptop on his nose. There could have been a laptop that was uncovered. Maybe they were able to do some research and find the actual true story of whatever it is that's going on based on someone's laptop, somebody's emails, somebody's records. And now they've got a case. This is a briefcase, a suitcase, or even a case of water. It doesn't matter what kind of case it is, but there is a case here indeed. Again, and we were just talking about the cases that happen behind the scenes with court appearances that maybe someone doesn't even know about, because they appear to be not even here anymore. So it's like, why does that individual need to be here? So it could have something to do with an inheritance, maybe an insurance policy or something that somebody's trying to get their hands on. Maybe they're trying to say that they used to be their caretaker, and maybe they were told that they would be able to have this stuff. I don't know, folks, but what kind of person are you? Do you put your cart back in the cart stall, or do you not? Do you just leave it out so someone can just go ahead and scurry around and gather all the carts? I did this one yesterday. And the reason why I did this yesterday is because I was doing a delivery, and the delivery apps don't give you time to return the cart to the stall. I mean, I guess I could intentionally park next to a return the cart stall, but usually in my own time, I'll take the cart right back to the store. I don't even put it in the cart stall. So this has been heavy on my mind the last, every time I do a delivery. It's like, oh my gosh, I want to put it back in the stall. And sometimes I'll just run it back over there and run it back to the car, and I'll just take the ding if it says that I was late. But in some cases, I have to be honest, I don't put the cart back in the stall because I just don't have the time to do it, and I apologize for that to anybody who had to collect my cart. Anywho. I did also find out yesterday that the number 13, as much as it says that it's like some kind of dark number, it actually relates to femininity, which I found very interesting. It's like, why would they pick one of the numbers that have to deal with being feminine and the feminine divine force and make it such a bad number? Hey, Google. I recently found out that the number 13 is connected to, I don't know if it's numerology or in what kind of way, but it's connected to being feminine or the feminine energy. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's accurate. In many spiritual traditions and studies of numerology, the number 13 is often associated with the divine feminine and the completion of cycles. This connection is frequently linked to the 13 lunar cycles that occur within a year, which also align with the 13 menstrual cycles in a biological year. Because of these rhythmic ties to nature and the moon, 13 is seen by some as a symbol of transformation, rebirth, and the power of the feminine, often contrasting with its more common, modern reputation for being unlucky.
Chills. There's also word that the number we're supposed to have 13 months in the calendar, and we were supposed to have 13 hours in the day. We have to pose the question, why in the world was everything moved to 12 versus the 13? And maybe it has some kind of correlation to the fact that the number 13 correlates to that whole feminine energy. And if they could disrupt that or get rid of it in the everyday and the monthly everything, then maybe they would be able to completely just get rid of the divine knowing of it altogether. Hey, Google, why did they classify the number 13 as being some kind of unfortunate number?
The belief that 13 is unlucky is largely attributed to it being an anomaly when compared to the perfect number 12, which aligns with the months of the year, the zodiac, and the hours on a clock face. Many cultures view 13 as a disruptor of this harmony. Historically, this negative reputation was reinforced by ancient folklore and religious stories, such as the 13th guest at the Last Supper, who was associated with betrayal, or the Norse legend where Loki's arrival as the 13th guest at a banquet led to tragedy. Over time, these cultural associations became so ingrained that they influenced modern society, leading to the common practice of skipping the 13th floor in buildings or row 13 on airplanes.
Again, with the chills. So, hey, Google, isn't it true that we were supposed to, or isn't it, hasn't it been said that there actually should have been 13 months and 13 hours in a day?
It's a common topic of discussion, but there's no historical or scientific consensus that there should be 13 months or 13 hours. Proposals for a 13-month calendar, like the International Fixed Calendar, have appeared over the years to try and create a more consistent structure, but they haven't been adopted globally because they don't align perfectly with the Earth's orbit around the Sun. Regarding the 13-hour...
Hey, Google, you cut out, but isn't there actually 13 zodiac signs? I think the other one is a fucus.
It's a popular point of confusion. While there are technically 13 constellations that sit along the path the sun travels, known as the ecliptic, the traditional zodiac system used in astrology only recognizes 12 signs. The constellation Ophiuchus is the 13th one that touches that path, but ancient Babylonian astronomers decided to omit it about 3,000 years ago. They preferred a 12-sign system to align perfectly with their 12-month calendar, and to keep the mathematical division of the sky consistent. Because of this, Ophiuchus is considered a constellation of the ecliptic, but it isn't part of the astrological zodiac.
So the key word is that they decided that that's what it was going to be versus what the actual facts of the matter are, that it is existing there and it is a part of it and it is supposed to be in alignment with the 13. Had they kept it, it would have been in alignment with a 13-month calendar as well. Now, these are all just theories and things to ponder. So there's that. We've got the drain coming out first. That's the overall energy. And then we've got the raccoon coming out here in the center as a center card pull, as well as success. So trickster mentality, also someone stealing something. Someone was trying to drain some situation, steal from a situation, trick in a situation. There's success that was found in that. Somebody successfully was able to do that. But the raccoon also has been said to trying to domesticate itself, like the cats are trying to domesticate themselves, which I found interesting. So we could also look at it in the matter of maybe someone is trying to domesticate or bring something home, in a matter of speaking. Maybe there was success there, and then vomit. Someone is getting sick over the success of somebody and this invitation. Someone's making a mess of this invitation. Someone is getting sick over an invitation. Someone's going to have to RSVP. Successfully made someone sick, this trickster. All right, we've got toe tag. Something's being identified. Maybe something that was just left behind and was not identified at one point is now being identified. We've got quote unquote, I have to say, and this is TMI, and I always put in a little tidbit about my own stories here and there, probably in everyone, but I used to get a pedicure done on my toes just in case I ever needed a toe tag. And that's where that card kind of derived from. The fact that I, at the time, really did care about what people thought of me. So this could have something to do with someone who actually cares about how people think about them. At the time, I was in a situation with somebody. It was a little bit dysfunctional, I would have to say. Probably more so than I even realized or recognized, but it did end up with me having to leave where I was living. And that is actually in my records that shows that I was living in this place until 2019, of which I was not, because I had left that location in 2008, I believe it was. Or was it 2000? I think it was 2008. I don't recall, but again, that's where my age was shown as being different than it was. That's also a place where I submitted money order in order to pay for my closing bills as far as the utilities is concerned. And it was a money order that I handed to the individual saying I didn't know if I was supposed to make it out to the apartments or if I was supposed to make it out to the water trash company, whatnot. And the guy said, oh, I'll take care of that. And then walked away, and I still have an open account with that company because this person said that I never paid, which I find interesting. Anywho, back to the story. We've got quote unquote. Somebody is saying something. Somebody is being quoted to say something. It could also be a he said, she said kind of situation happening. We've got the number 9. Someone's learning their lesson in that kind of case. Just like I learned my lesson, don't ever give a money order to someone that's not made out to anybody, even if you think that that person should be in a place of honesty, because I mean, they handling funds. It's like, who does that? in my mind, I wouldn't do that to other people, so I wouldn't imagine anyone else doing it to somebody else. But you know what? That's their test, right? So maybe they had to learn a lesson in that situation, and who's to say? It's the ending of a cycle, a lesson learned. We've got something in regarding to a house. We haven't seen the house card coming up in some time. Mushrooms, they repopulate themselves really quickly when they're out in the wild. There are different variations of mushrooms. Some are really good for you. Some are great for mental health, from what I understand. I've never participated, so I do not know. But there are some people who say that they do come to some kind of enlightenment by doing that, but they also say that you have to be in a right frame of mind to be able to participate. Otherwise, whatever journey that you go on is not going to be pleasant based on whatever your thought process is at the time. So if you're heavy and stressed, you probably don't want to do it. I don't know, folks. I don't know how it works. I haven't done it. Just sharing what I've heard. There are also mushrooms that can be a detriment, and there's also some that are great for just your body health. Mushrooms that are sold as supplements can do great things for somebody's thinking. It can do things like give you clearer thinking. It's a good bacteria that kills bad bacteria, so it's also supposed to be able to be helpful in clearing of any of the cells that cause the cancer breeding, I guess it's called. I don't know if I'm allowed to even say that word, even though it's a sun sign, so why shouldn't I be able to? But I'm not a nutritionalist, I'm not a doctor, so please use your own advisement when it comes to these things. Mushroom people, I believe, that have an A blood type shouldn't do mushrooms because apparently it's not good for their blood type. But again, do your research, because that's just information that I'm thinking about from what I heard from way back when. So who's to say it even applies? Everything that you hear, see, or read, please do your research and use your own discernment when it comes to those things. We've got mutate, something that is taking shape as something else. It's changing, it is becoming something else. It's just a random change. In that being said, the MTHFR gene mutation happens to people. It causes things such as arthritis. It has other thoughts that it could be contributing to high functioning autism. It could be some kind of, I think they were calling it Asperger's. I think it has a new name now. It has something to do with the gene mutation. It's important to get those things checked out, because if you are being given prescriptions for arthritis, those same prescriptions that usually help another individual who does not have any gene mutations, for those who have the gene mutations, it gets processed in a way that's not good for those people, and it causes more problems than it's actually helping. And I think it has something to do with the vitamin B, as in boy, as well. Sometimes the mutation can cause interferences with processing those kinds of vitamins because of the gene mutation. So there's that. In regards to this story, though, we have something that's being identified, something that somebody was said. Maybe they learned a lesson by just listening entirely to what someone says and taking it as gospel. It could have something to do with somebody's stability in regards to a house. They could have been saying that someone was doing psychedelics or something, and maybe they didn't deserve to have a house or something of that nature. Maybe they're trying to change their story now at this point in regards to what has to do with some kind of clubs being involved. Clubs can be anything from any of the clubs. I do have cards for it. We could probably pull them. But these are things such as fraternities, sororities, societies, lodges. People go to the golf course in order to have meetings. They can play singular. They can be on their own, or they could be with a group of people. It's not cheap to go to a regular club. This is also could be mini golf. So, I mean, even that, you have to have extra income in order to be able to venture out to a mini golf course. Let me see if I can find the clubs cards. We've got landscapes, chakras, here we go. Are these them? Pure lead groups, Greek letter organizations, official groups, secret societies, service clubs, infinity groups, social organizations, trade groups, prison affiliation groups, social organizations, groups based on race, trade groups, cults and covens, infinity groups, gang affiliated, service clubs, secret societies, official groups, pure lead, Greek letter, oh, those are the backs, political groups, faith-based groups. There they are. Should we see who's participating in these groups? Oh boy, oh boy. The post-it is on, oh, that's passport. The post-it is on prison affiliated groups. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. But the maybe people are changing groups. It was always my theory that if there's any kind of crimes going on or any kind of stalking, or if there's any kind of anything that's going on that's harming another individual, or if someone's trying to spread some kind of information, it probably has some kind of connection to clubs, because one individual can be part of 5 to 6 to 10 to 12, however many different clubs that they may be a part of. And if that one individual is trying to gain assistance from all these people in these clubs, they can tell their story, whatever story it may be, and then they can try to gain some kind of support from these different clubs. And everybody, of course, feels bad for the individual that they know, because they don't know that this person is manipulating or trying to mutate the situation to make it appear to be something that it's not. So here this innocent person is being harassed or isolated or kept out of certain situations, benefits, jobs, whatever, because of this person. Prison affiliated groups coming out again. This was the one I said had the post-it on. This is the one that came out. So this person could have been in prison at one time. They could have some kind of connections to a prison of some sort. And they could have tried to get help from these people. There was a time when I was going through my toe tag era, and part of the reason why I stopped seeing an individual is because they chose to want to make the wrong choice instead of making the right choice, and they consciously were making this wrong choice for whatever reason. And it came as a thought to me, like, this person probably has your phone number, or probably gave your phone number out to a bunch of people who had been incarcerated or were incarcerated or were on their way out of being incarcerated, and probably told them certain stories about an individual of what kind of person they were, and wanted these people to contact this individual or come across them perhaps in dating sites or whatnot. Maybe they would go to a place where an individual frequent, maybe while they were doing their errands, for this people to strike up a conversation with said individual. And of course, they would do whatever it was that they were sent to do or whatnot at that time. I know my ex, and I apologize. This is a trigger warning. If it triggers you, I apologize. It's not my intention. But he had often said that he wouldn't do things on his own. He would hire or have another person come and do them instead. So, there's that. People can get riled up on certain topic matters and want to point fingers or look at someone else and take out their irritations on an individual who actually is probably just an innocent bystander or an innocent person, based on whatever it was that this person had said about them. So again, it is so important that we are doing our research and finding discernment with whatever it is, that needs to be done. There could be people who are in places of authority that are going to these people who are in prison systems, and maybe they could be even making them say something, or making them be a part of something, or making them do things that they don't really want to do, but because of whatever these people are hanging over their heads, maybe that is something that is trying to entice these people or whatnot to do whatever it is that they're asking them to do. We've got a map. It's all over the map. It's all over the globe. It's not restricted to just one continent, just like the news break video that was posted about the cyber crimes that were being done. Anytime I've ever brought up anything of the sort, people are like, why would somebody do that? Oh, you're just overthinking it. That's not something that someone would do. And in actuality, it is possible. If you have a thought about it, then it is possible. Just like any kind of movie that's being made, it is possible. Someone's thinking about it. So it's a thought that's come from somewhere. So if it's a thought that's coming from somewhere, it's a possibility of it having a true existence in reality. We've got an SOS. Someone is reaching out for help. Someone is going to need help, or maybe help is on the way. Something's not right in a situation. I also want to add that I was in doing a delivery in LA County, and while I was there, there was somebody on a bicycle that was taking my photo of me and my vehicle. They had their phone up, they took pictures. You can see the finger going click, 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 trying to take pictures on the phone, because you know you take multiple to make sure you get a good one. I looked in my rear view, I saw him looking at his phone, and then he took a picture of the back of my vehicle as well. Now, it could be some kind of neighborhood watch program, of course, but, you know, considering I've had that, what was said to me in the past, you just never know. We have a visitor here, so we have a visitor that's going to be coming up. Maybe that was the help that's on its way in regards to some kind of business. These could be a business where there's apartments overhead. This could be just a retail strip mall of some sort. It is a business. Remember, we did have that umbrella that came up. And that could correlate to this business that I was talking about as the example of the umbrella corporations. I don't know. T-shirt, it's a casual business, so it's not like a high tech. It's not like a big rig. That's not the right word, but it has something to do with some kind of casual business, selling casual merchandise. So I'm thinking it's more of like a retail establishment versus a corporation that you wear a suit and jacket to. It's a heavy weight to bear. Something is working out, perhaps. Asymmetrical. Something was not balanced. Something was uneven for sure. Maybe whatever was said about this whole situation, they were saying it in order to get this person to appear to be someone who was a prison affiliated, or they had been to prison, or they wanted to send this person to prison. Flat top. Someone who wears a flat top. Flat top is easily seen, right? The precision is there. I'm hearing flat line, and then I'm also thinking it's odd. It's kind of weird to have a flat line that is uneven. Surrender. Maybe they're surrendering. the situation, whoever that is involved, because they have an empty toolbox. They can't fix the situation of which they caused. And it's very clear to them at this point. Straitjacket. Someone needing to be in isolation. Somebody who is actually probably needing a straitjacket. Keeping them from harming themselves or harming anybody else because they're inept. They have no emotional tools. They don't have any social tools. Sanctuary. Are you ready? Are you ready for your sanctuary? Someone's no longer tied. Somebody ran over somebody and left it in the road. Goat, the greatest of all time. It also could be a Capricorn. Maybe a Capricorn left somebody in the road. Maybe a Capricorn left somebody, ran them over, and just left them there. Didn't look back. We've got a frame. There could be a Capricorn who's being framed for doing this. Greatest of all time, they could be putting someone's picture in a frame. Surrendering somebody's importance. Maybe somebody was going to surrender and provide help for somebody who is being put in a frame. This person who has a flat top could be a Capricorn. The center card in this read is going to be the straitjacket, though. We have a castle. Correlates to that house for sure. Boomerang. Something's coming back to somebody. Something was thrown out, but now it's back. We've got wind up. Maybe somebody said something was actually happening to them, or someone was doing something to them, but it was actually just their own boomerang of whatever it was that they were doing. It was coming back to them, kind of like karma. We've got a candle here. And then we've got swap, someone trying to change something out. Again, with that mutate, that's interesting. Maybe based on something that somebody had said about something. Maybe someone was saying, oh, they're only dating you for the house. Maybe they're only dating you for, whatever it is that you could provide to them. They're only dating you because they need help. They're only dating you because maybe they're from a family line that has to do with a castle. Swap and candle. Maybe someone was trying, what is it called? Destiny swap. Maybe they were trying to do a destiny swap on somebody and that boomeranged back on them. And now we've got the A-line dress, another card that is talking about balance here. It's short in the back, it's long in the front, and then we had the mullet that was short in the front and long in the back. Swapping it out. It looks like it's long, but it's actually short. It's both. Someone's trying to make something appear to be something that it's not. Like maybe they went ahead and did something, but they actually didn't do it. We've got a kiss here. Originally, this kiss card was made because I was trying to give that idea of chemistry. It's like, in the kiss, whether it's a match or not, right? If you kiss someone and it's just like, oh, I mean, granted, you have to say sometimes the first kiss isn't the best kiss until you can better coordinate the kiss, I guess. But then I found out that this kiss, the artist who did the kiss, he actually made that painting in honorage of a coworker, someone that he worked with, a friend that he had, who it was platonic kiss, actually. So maybe the unevenness or the imbalance that's going on here, maybe there's someone who has found the kiss to be highly chemically energizing, as far as like there was some kind of chemistry there, but for somebody else it just seemed like it was more platonic, that they didn't have, or they didn't feel that spark like the other person did. And maybe that's what drove this person to the point of just making poor decisions, or trying to isolate somebody, or trying to keep somebody remote or off limits to other people. There was someone who I was on a dating site with, and we briefly spoke, but I got a weird feeling about the individual, but I didn't want to put too much into it. I kind of just wanted to conversate with them and see, if it could work out in some kind of regard. And in the end, I was like, if it's taking this long in order for the relationship, or for me to see things different than what I had, then obviously there's some kind of meaning to that, right? So I had to honor my instincts and just let the individual know that it was just a platonic thing for me. I didn't feel the chemistry there, and I wasn't going to be interested in meeting the individual. And I'm only bringing it up because this individual used to keep emailing me every time I would be on a dating app and say, oh, well, we're both single still, so maybe we should meet. And so finally I had to say, I'm seeing it as just being platonic. There's no chemistry there. I'm not feeling good about the situation. It just didn't feel right. This person was very kind in inviting me or offering me a place to stay when I was trying to find a place. I was on a leave of absence at the time, and trying to find a place. So I was staying at a hotel at the moment. People don't generally want to rent to you if you're on a leave of absence from work. So I was forced to stay and reside in a hotel. And they did offer me to stay at their place, but again, I felt uneasy about the situation. It didn't feel right, so of course I declined. This person did have ties to the legal world of things, and so it often made me wonder if situations were getting worse because of that individual, but you don't want to really think that, because it's just unheard of that someone would be that way. So again, I don't have any proof of that, and it's alleged, and it's just a thought that came to mind. I don't mean anything by it. I'm not mentioning any names, nor where they work, where they live, or anything. So it shouldn't be of anyone's concern. It's just sharing the info. Radioactivity is the next word coming out. Oh, interesting. And then we've got betrayal. I completely put everything that I was going through out on the line with this individual, and it could have caused a radioactive situation that caused some kind of betrayal along the line. I find it interesting that is the next cards coming out after telling that story. All that their actions could be boomeranging to them at the moment. Maybe they were thinking it was something that was being done, when it's actually just their own actions and their own thoughts and their own situation coming back to them. And it could have something to do with a silver spoon. Maybe someone felt someone was entitled. And then I have a new card, catfish. So maybe someone wanted it to appear like they had some wealth and they actually didn't. Or maybe they were trying to drain this person's wealth through a catfish account. Or they could just plain like catfish, and that's what they choose to spend their money on. They were probably using some kind of candle magic at the time as well. Salt and pepper shakers. Adding seasoning to a story, adding a little bit more flavor to a situation. Could be someone up in age with the salt and pepper hair, if they have hair, or if they would have hair. It also could be to the fact that you need to use your discernment. Coming back to that, it's like, don't just start salting your food if someone else made it and you haven't even tasted it yet to see if it even needs any more seasoning. Right? Don't assume that you think that it's going to need more if you didn't even make it. There was a person who told me a story about someone who sat down for lunch with someone to do an interview, and the person did not get the job because they just automatically assumed, without tasting what was being given to them, that it was going to need more seasoning. So they didn't get the job because they didn't even taste the food first to find out. Could also be salt in a wound as well. Maybe someone swapped somebody's seasonings. They put something in somebody's seasonings in order to be something else than what it was. We have the toe tag and the shakers there. So somebody could have put something into somebody's salt and pepper shakers. So when they were trying to season their food, they were getting something else. I don't know why I'm thinking about my interactions with the management office, and she was saying that they are allowed to have a certain amount of cockroach feces in coffee grounds, and so that she doesn't use coffee grounds anymore. She self grinds her own coffee, which I think is smart, just because the flavor is better. So maybe somebody put something in, as I said, into somebody's salt and pepper shakers, or their seasoning for that matter. With that being said, I think I'm going to throw out all of my seasonings and all of my open coffee grounds. We have the prison affiliated groups, the clubs, the clubs and stuff in the corner of the A line. So maybe somebody was using some kind of finances in order to pay off these people. Maybe someone's bank account is being shorted somehow, but in the front of it, it's made to look like it's not. And again, this was all to make someone feel like they were not okay, or it could be someone who's just not okay and they're doing all of these behaviors. This whole reading is surrounding the idea that someone is not okay. Someone is harming themselves or harming someone else, or they're at the point of doing that. They're not okay. They tried to isolate someone, or maybe even make it seem like this individual was the type of person to harm themselves or somebody else. The outcome, I'm going to pull the outcome cards. We've got 3. These are all from the other read that we had. 4, 5, 6, 7. These are from the previous read. We've got the rock. Either someone's coming out from under a rock, someone is throwing rocks, someone is in a rock in a hard place. We have a dollhouse, someone trying to play house, maybe inviting them to come live with them and they're not married. Someone could be playing make-believe. Maybe they're throwing rocks and trying to say that this person is just coming up with these ideas and they're not accurate. We've got riding quads. I actually saw 4 individuals on one electric bike. They were making it work. They were all doing their own thing while they were on this bike, but they were still all grouped together, getting from point A to point B. We've got period, end of a sentence, end of a story. They were all working together. We've got hamburger. The story is stacked. They wanted to have things their way. We've got the trumpet calling an assembly of all the people involved. Also, they found that on the trumpet vine, it is found to have a substance in it where it clouds another person's ability to make their own choices and decisions, and in some cases could cause someone to need a toe tag. It completely jeopardizes somebody's free will. This is causing attention to the vampire bat. The vampire bat stands for intuition and sensitivity, highly social, trust your inner voice and instincts. And my ear is ringing on that. In the Chinese culture, the symbol of extreme good fortune, happiness, and longevity has to do with navigating the unknown, transformation, guiding through personal change, and the ability to move through fear and uncertainty with confidence. So regardless of anything that's been going on in this whole scenario or storyline, please know that there is the ability to be able to move through all of these things, even if you don't know how it's going to turn out, or even though you don't know what the heck is even going on, you are safe. Use your discernment, stay in touch with your inner knowing, your intuition, and your guidance. It's imperative at this point to be able to do that. Oh, I didn't use those other cards first. We've got coffee coming in upside down. So I guess that verifies the fact that I'm going to throw my coffee out. Something is whack. It's no surprise to why someone has been isolated. This is the touch card upside down. It's no mistake. The wolf has been exposed. This person is being shown as not being the wolf. We've got meow here. Somebody's found their voice. They're going to say something, cause attention to the scenario. Independent. Regardless, it's whack. And then I've got these cards like this. I'm just going to pull them out. Promises upside down. Someone's not able to follow through on their promises. We've got the N upside down. So it's somebody who's in their south node. I guess it's an and either way you look at it. Up, down, up. Up, down, up. It's an and up any way you look at it. So it's first, middle, or last name that starts with N. It is also any word that starts with N. Could be now. Could be never. Could be negotiable. Could be non-conforming. Could be no. We've got step upside down. They're not taking the next step. It's not a step sister or a step family or a step brother or a step uncle or whatever that works, or a step parent or a step child. Somebody could be a step, but they're in their south node. Another tidbit I need to share, folks. If you're watching readings, just because you came across it, it doesn't mean the entire story is for you. It could mean that there's just a part of it in there that's for you. And if someone is saying that your step brother or your step sister or whomever is doing something, don't just go off on that person if you don't have any concrete proof or evidence. Not to mention that sometimes the words can lead an individual into thinking something might be true. Again, use your discernment. Don't ruin a happy family just because something or someone told you that it's not a happy family and something's going on behind the scenes. You know how you feel with your family. You know how you feel in certain situations if you choose to connect to that. So you've got to use your discernment. And some things that you're like might be hearing in your mind's eye, be mindful of that as well. Tune into your heart for the answers. If it harms another individual, it's not the right thing. Anything that harms someone else is not going to be the pathway for you. We have an anomaly that's upside down. Sometimes things may appear to be an anomaly, but it's really not. It's really intentioned. Maybe it doesn't seem strange. Maybe it's something that you're quite comfortable or you are quite knowledgeable about. So what's an anomaly for someone else may not be an anomaly for you. We've got receive. Maybe you're receiving something that you should have received already because it wasn't an anomaly that you didn't receive it. We've got a blank here with food on the other side. Interesting with the salt and pepper shakers. Secrets. You're receiving the secrets. Someone is telling you about the secrets of betrayal. And you're going to be unbothered by it because you kind of probably already knew about it. Maybe someone had something held over their head that they were going to tell on somebody's secrets. But in all actuality, whatever the secret is, whoever's going to be receiving the news of it is unbothered by it. They don't even care about whatever the secret is. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe it's a secret that's not really that much of a secret. Right? I mean, I know that I have senses about certain individuals that I know that I kind of have a feeling about, but it's like, really? I probably already know. Maybe someone's unbothered by the potential of voodoo being done on them. The illusions. They're unbothered by the illusions. Loyalty. Maybe there's an illusion of loyalty. Someone's going to come in and try to say that they're loyal, but it's just an illusion. They're not really loyal because they're probably the one that's been doing voodoo the whole time. And you're just unbothered by it. There's a smear campaign going on. Initial of J, upside down. Someone in their south node. First, middle, or last, or a word that could start with J, like judge. Better. They're not getting any better. Maybe that was the smear campaign, that someone's not getting any better. Pollution upside down. Non-pollution, no pollution. They're actually not polluted. They're actually not sick. They're actually not toxic. They're actually not all of these things that someone tried to portray them out to be. That was part of the smear campaign. Next card out, if I'm just looking down, is the tiara. Self-respect. It's a female in some kind of respectable position. Maybe somebody won a contest. Maybe someone's a princess for the day. Maybe they're celebrating some kind of thing, or maybe they are in a place of royalty. Maybe that's the secret. And they just didn't know that they were part of royalty. Who's to say? Once again, I'm exhausted. Exhausted.